Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're gearing up to descend into one of the most haunting, just absolutely fascinating speculative stories I've come across. It's called Whispers of the Deep. Now, if you're the kind of focused learner who loves exploring the unknown, someone who thrives on those mysteries that kind of blur the line between hard science and cosmic horror, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unpack this narrative step by step to uncover the absolute darkest, most terrifying secrets our oceans might be hiding. So, take a deep breath, because we are about to plunge straight into the abyss. 10%. I mean, think about that. We love to think we're the masters of our own planet, right? We've mapped the stars, we've got rovers literally driving around on Mars. But the chilling reality, and this really sets the stage for our entire explainer today, is that less than 10% of our own oceans have actually been explored. 10%! The story we're unpacking uses this statistic not just as some fun piece of trivia, but as a dire warning. The vast, overwhelming majority of our world is just a complete and total mystery. It's this massive blind spot right here on Earth. Okay, let's dive into this. What if the ocean isn't just a big body of salt water? What if it's alive? What if it's aware? And maybe most unsettling of all, what if it actually has plans for us? That right there is the core speculative premise driving this entire narrative. It completely flips our understanding of nature. Instead of a passive environment, we're looking at an active, calculating intelligence. Which brings us to Section 1, the shallows, or a whisper from the deep. So our story begins with Akira. She's a girl who has spent her entire life shaped by this really strange, unexplainable connection to the sea. Even when she was miles and miles inland, away from the shore, she heard something, just this constant, low whisper that absolutely no one else could hear. It was a heavy secret. She kept it locked away until a mysterious new student named Mio shows up. And Mio doesn't just befriend Akira, she instantly validates this lifelong secret by revealing her own impossible, otherworldly knowledge. I mean, Mio casually talks about these intricate ocean currents that aren't on any human map. She can hear frequencies and sounds that our most advanced scientific instruments literally cannot even detect. And she gives these incredibly strict warnings about forbidden, highly specific dive sites. This impossible knowledge just deepens the mystery tenfold. Like, who exactly is this girl? And right here is where the story brilliantly grounds its fantasy in some uncanny reality: bioluminescence. Down in the absolute pitch black darkness, thousands of meters below the surface, in a world that has never ever seen the sun, there are creatures that literally create their own biochemical light. We know this is scientifically true. It's a totally fascinating biological adaptation. But the story? The story takes this fact and gives it a really dark twist. Which leads us to this incredibly eerie question. Why do these deep-sea creatures actually need to glow? Is it just for mating? Maybe for hunting? Or, as this narrative brilliantly suggests, are they creating light because they are being watched? What if that tiny beacon of light in the darkness isn't actually for them at all? What if it's for something much, much larger that's lurking down there in the dark, just keeping an eye on its domain? Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the story drops its first colossal reveal. Mio just comes right out and confesses, quote, "I am from the ocean." The line just hangs there in the air. It's the ultimate confirmation of every single suspicion Akira has had. And honestly, it's the real turning point of the whole narrative. Mio isn't just deeply connected to the sea, she's literally a product of it. Think about it. If someone tells you they are literally a creature from the uncharted pitch-black abyss, the expected reaction is absolute terror, right? You run. But Akira's reaction, it's the total opposite. Instead of fear, she feels this profound, deep sense of belonging. The whole narrative shifts right here. It's no longer just a mystery, it becomes a story about this deep, impossible, and almost magnetic connection between a human and the abyss. Moving on to Section 2, the Twilight Zone and the Lure of Connection. So, how could a connection even exist between a human and an entity from the deep? Well, the story proposes a really fascinating theory. It suggests these ancient beings are actually emotionally incomplete. They're ancient, sure, they're unimaginably powerful, but they lack something fundamental. They actively seek out human connection to experience something they simply cannot generate on their own: love. They crave it. And this sets up the romantic elements of the story, framing Mio and Akira's bond as this beautiful bridging of two entirely different worlds. Which brings us down into Section 3, the Midnight Zone, where the ocean stares back. Now, we can't stay in the shallows of romance forever. This is where the story shifts dramatically from a personal romance into terrifying Lovecraftian cosmic horror. The water itself is personified. In this absolutely pivotal scene, Akira is standing at the shore with Mio, and she can literally feel the gaze of this huge, ancient being fixed right on her. She catches just a glimpse of something colossal moving in the depths. And the description is intentionally vague here, because it represents an intelligence so ancient and so vast that it's completely beyond human comprehension. But it's looking right at her. Then, the author yanks us aggressively back to reality with a seriously chilling fact: the bloop. Real scientists have actually recorded these massive, unexplained, ultra-low frequency underwater sounds. Sounds so unbelievably loud and strange that they have absolutely no known biological or geological source. By weaving real-world mysteries like the bloop into the narrative, the story reminds us that our actual oceans hold colossal, terrifying secrets that just completely defy explanation. So the crucial point is this rapid-fire sequence of philosophical questions the story begins to launch at us. First, what if it's a single organism? What if the ocean isn't just an ecosystem made of millions of different parts, but one single, unified, thinking entity? I mean, the implications of that are staggering. It would mean every wave, every current is just part of a singular nervous system. Second, what if we are in a petri dish? This completely reframes all of human ocean exploration. Every submarine we send down, every ship sailing on the surface, what if that's not us bravely exploring the unknown? What if it's an invitation? What if we're just buzzing around inside an alien experiment, completely unaware that we are the ones being studied? And then we arrive at the most chilling question of all. Starkly juxtaposed against that romance we discussed earlier, what if love is a lure? What if love isn't this beautiful, transcendent feeling at all? What if it's merely a method, like biological or psychological bait, that this vast, predatory consciousness uses to claim a human being for itself? It takes that beautiful connection between Akira and Mio and casts a deeply, deeply sinister shadow over it, leading us to our final section, the abyss and the final choice. Everything we've learned, from the glowing bioluminescence to the colossal intelligence of the deep, it all culminates in a single, irreversible decision. Mio makes the offer plain and simple. Come with me and leave your surface world behind for good. And Akira makes her choice. She chooses the total unknown with Mio over the familiar life without her. The fear is incredibly real for her. She knows she's never going to return to the surface. She'll never see the sun again. But her bond with Mio, that compelling, impossible love, is simply too strong to sever. She willingly sacrifices her human life for the terrifying depths. But just when you think you're getting a romantic, if maybe bittersweet ending, the story hits you with one final ominous twist. As Akira steps into the water, we see for the very first time a flicker of alarm in Mio's eyes. Mio knows a dark truth that Akira doesn't. The transformation into a creature of the deep, it isn't always a gentle one. Akira has willingly stepped into a process, a literal trap, that she doesn't fully understand. And that is exactly where the story leaves us, hanging on this unresolved, haunting cliffhanger. Now that Akira has chosen the deep and literally given herself over to this vast consciousness waiting in the dark, will it embrace her as one of its own? Or will it simply consume her? It's a brilliant, terrifying concept, and I'll leave you to ponder that as you look out at the water the next time you're at the beach. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep questioning the